Hello, this is Gerald van Bas. I'm back to the educational channel simply because there are sometimes things to learn before you can do something right. You have to learn certain aspects and learn to adapt them to them well, so that you understand how things work. And also it's the same with letters. And if you want to understand letters, understand the combinations of letters, how they combine, and how they combine themselves to meaningful positions and associations, it is necessary to understand where the foundations lie of each letter. And I even have to emphasize on that for myself a few times, because before you know it, you start to fall back on patterns and use patterns as patterns, and that's not the way how you should learn to understand where the foundations are. And therefore I will focus upon the combination of two letters that don't combine so easily if you use the wrong logic, but if you use the right associations of logic that are meant to be there in each letter, and how they are meant to work together, then you understand. Only then you understand. And I already have explained before a word with the combination of tr. I didn't deal with all of the aspects yet, so the results were also not terrific. They were more like a kind of reasoning that I knew where more or less I had to land somewhere, but that's too vague of a description, and that can't be used as a proof, and it also is not convincing. So here I will go back to this combination and I will make it more convincing, because I will base myself upon the things that matter. And of course I will always have a focus on letters, but the focus in space is not the only thing. I mean, the focus on what kind of orientation that I have is not enough, because I have a couple of letters that are always about focuses in space. Some other letters are about the double vision of timing, so that you see, okay, I know where it starts and where it ends, so I know more or less where that letter is as a position. You still have a position, but these last letters, they are not just about positions, they are about context, and that still it still is at times puzzling to me as well. How does that work? And if I combine letters that are very far away from the content, you really have to focus on what do we really have here. So we have, of course, these three regions, but how do I combine the letter T in the position in space, which is clearly a very clear position in space, but R is not a clear position, not in space, not in timing. It has to search its context. So how can it find in direct order its order towards that space? It is a problem if you don't know well enough what to deal with. It won't work and we won't find it. But I will make it easy in this video, and it's even more easy as it seems to be at this point. Because of course I can look for the how it hangs together. Where is more or less the hanging together? And I will try to find it. I will try to find how it hangs together. I will try to trace it back to its combination, to its specific combination. And that will also be important. It's not about the puzzle pieces, but I'm already doing the same thing here. I'm just combining the puzzle a little bit, but I have to understand what I'm doing. And in this case, it could be a fantasy if I do that. I can see that the T position is also in the middle of timing. Yeah, that's quite funny. It's also there. But where is it in the position of context? I connect them together, but I still don't see the context. It's within that frame of space. It should be able to be there, but where is it? What is it about? You can't know it from this position alone. And that's why, because I didn't deal with all of the aspects, and some of the aspects are quite important, and sometimes, they become dominant even. And there's not just the positions in space and time that matters. It's not just the geometrical viewpoints of horizontal, vertical, and diagonal, of which the T is at the vertical point. The R is already, where is that horizontal, vertical, diagonal? It is, it is related somewhere at the edge with the diagonal. There should be a horizontal there somewhere as well. But it's not the basic context. It's not, you can't figure it out in that way from the scheme. Now, one other thing then, maybe the dimensions will help. So because we have 1, 2, 3 dimensions in space, we also have 3 dimensions that are related with time, which then are the 4th, the 5th and the 6th dimension, which is actually the 3 dimensions plus 1 time direction, or 2 time directions, or 3 time directions. Will that help us there? At some times it does. And the last categories, they are, if you start counting, you land in 7th, 8th and 9th dimension, which is completely incomprehensible. But it can also be derived too, just like in the timing, the 4th, 5th and 6th dimensions are actually also from our spatial view. It is just an extra dimension in time, just 1 or 2 positions in time that you need, or 3 to pinpoint where in time that you can find out. So it's with the plus 1, 2 and 3, it helps as well to figure out where we are. And the last categories, it's more like the -1 or -2 or -3, meaning I have to get a step back so that I try to figure out where do I miss some dimension, and I take a step back to figure out where am I. Sometimes it will be useful. In this case, it will not help us, except the fact that T is in 1 dimension, and that will be a thing that will help us. 1 dimension meaning it's in 1 point, you know where it is. You know what that point is. The point expresses it all, the point itself. With the R it's -2, so there are 2 positions that you have to figure out which are not there. So there is somewhere a match. There are 2 dimensions which are not there. There's just 1 instead of 3, so 1 position in 3 dimensions of space. We miss 2. Where are the other 2? We have to figure them out. Thanks to R, we should be able to figure them out. Okay, I'm still reasoning, but it is correct what I'm saying. So, but before we can combine letters, it's very simple to localize them. As the T, that's easy with the geometrical focus. Here with the dimensions it was also possible. I have a focus in time and space, but the interaction, I think I need the dimensions this time, so that dimension will help us, and I will show you how. Because if it was just about timing and you were, say I had the letter T and I want them in the context of timing, it has a placement just in between, so that's quite okay. But within context, where is that? I have no clue at this point. And just simply connect them to where that point is from the R position in the scheme towards the T. It does not help. It does not show anything. It goes towards the point in the middle, but it can also go towards the edges of space. So it is within space. I have to find in the middle something. This is my reasoning. I know it's correct, but I can't do anything with it. But I have actually quite simple trick for that. The R, I can always use this kind of arrow of making a connection. And the positions we know in space, the ATK, clear positions. ULB, clear positions. CM and X, very clear positions. These are the positions in space on which we focus. So actually it shouldn't be so difficult to make combinations with R, which R is then making a connection, trying to find a connection so that we can finalize the total product. So Ra will be then focusing on the middle. Rt, Rik, I have here Ru, Rl, Rp, Rs, Rm, Riks. It's all focusing on a position, and there is some dynamics in there. Not many words exist there, except Ra exists as a word, which is also focusing on the sun and solar energy. You can recognize it a little bit like that. For the rest, I don't see much focuses that exist so that we can compare it. Or the other way around, we have ar, tr, kr, ur, lr, br, sr, br, gr, xr. I mean, there doesn't exist many words with these combinations, but we have tr, of course. So, but that's okay. That's something that we can make a clue with. Well, so let's take that out. What I can see already is like it is making a connection within itself. It has a certain position within space. I have the full space in it. This space is just the help, the context. That's already a context. And within that context of its own space, it will have to find to try to make a connection. What will that do if I continue this? Okay, it will just circle in itself. That's what I can make from it easily, actually. And that's actually what it will do. So it has a height, the vertical, because T is about the vertical. I deal with all of its aspects this time. The A is into the horizontal as an orientation, but it's in one space. The T is in the vertical, but it's just that is the context, but it's just one point in space. It's that one point in space that needs to be done, and when you orientate upon it, you need the vertical. So your communication field in there is the vertical. So if I turn in myself within this one dimension again and again, it's like a vibration, and that's what any vibration is, this frequency in the vertical. And I have it. I have the foundation for tr. So it is a bit like a trembling within one dimensional frame, let's say, because it's hardly a frame. So I can find its frequency. It is vibrating. Even if it stays in one point, it has its own vibration. So, and that vibration will be able to make that connections through a process in time. It's possible because it vibrates. So it is pop, yes, pop, yes, pop, yes, pop, yes. And in every pop, you can try out a connection. It can connect, and it can connect through time, through context, via that vibration within that one point. And that's where I will find the connections to. So let's now find out if this matches with all the words that are there. You have, as a vibration, from that you have points of connections, yes or no, yes or no. Electricity, the trr is there, that's the electricity makes that connection. Tram is basically an electric device which is also driven by that vibration of electricity, and there it can continue its course. You have the tracking or tracing, it connects through that vibration and there it can connect itself. But it's mostly the easiest thing to associate from it is of course that trembling, which you also have in the trr, trr, trr of the drum, of trr, trr, trr from the telephone. So the trr, trr, trr is like a telephone ringing. Actually, within that one point of focus, it's there in that one point of focus. If I would, for instance, use a different letter where you also have a combination with R, like brr, 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 this is all more like a shivering. The B is in 2 dimensions. So you have 2 times this this connection, this 2 times, it can make a connection. It's also kind of trembling, the trembling of when you're cold. It's a bit wider. It's not just in 1 point, it's within 2 points. This different vibration. But I'm there. I understand the combination of T with R. I had to look for it a little bit, but when I'm used to the correct reasoning, I have it. And then a few words that might seem to be a bit more difficult, like trust, or trouw, which means loyalty, or marriage, or troost, which means comfort. That's all a bit more difficult, but also that they all come down to just one starting point of vibration or frequency, even to tap into it, so that it can make so that it works, that this word, what it expresses, can work. It uses this, you can tune into it and it vibrates to your own frequency. So that's why trust works. That's how troost or comfort works. That's how trouw or loyalty or marriage works, because you find the match with that vibration, and you use the same vibration, and you can start from the same vibration with T, the position, R, the vibration. And then you have some words that becomes a bit tricky, let's say, then, like try, trick, or trolling. They also start from this one position. They also start from that vibration. But you have the extra words that divide it to somewhere else, like tried, it goes to why. Why is like a question mark indeed. It goes to somewhere else, which isn't defined yet. So it is like you have this vibration, I'm ready for it, and yes, go. No, that's not it. Maybe another position. That's the try, that's the try out. Or the trick, the same thing. You also have the E, the new idea, and then C, try to estimate and break it into some direction that comes out of it, that you don't can predict from beforehand. But you have that new idea towards change, and it is like, yeah, what will I do? Yep, in that direction. Yep, it's again this electricity which goes to the yeses or nos. It's there. I hope this brought you closer to understand how to combine certain letters, and they are meaningful. So it's only a matter of dealing with all of its aspects. It's not just positions, it's also dimensions, and in some cases they matter to understand the combinations of letters well, and how they work and how they are meaningful. All the letters are meaningful and the combinations are meaningful, but you just have to discover them by tracing its correct associations. And here I did that by tracing it to its real source.